Hey guys, welcome to Life as a Full-Time Braider, episode 4. A safe, transparent, fun space for braiders to connect with their audiences through conversations. Today's guest actually inspired me to start my braiding business. She is a loving mother, a mental health advocate, and a go-to stylist for box braids because I get my box braids done by her. Welcome, Tamara.
Hi.
Hey Tamara, thank you for coming on.
It's okay.
Tamara is the founder of At Salone's Range. You can
Mhm.
find her on Instagram. And do you have TikTok?
No, not yet.
No, she will be getting
Yeah.
TikTok. All right, Tamara. So before we start, I'm gonna do like a little icebreaker.
Oh gosh, okay.
Okay. So
Mhm.
forks locks or box braids?
Faux locks.
Yeah. Have you? Because you've had them done before,
Yeah.
isn't it? Are they quite light or are they actually heavy?
They can be heavy. They're heavier than braids, but it depends on what length, what size you get, how much hair
Yeah.
is used. But they are usually heavier than braids.
Yeah. Does it vary though? Because you can get the silk. Is it the silk locks? What's the
You
soft
can get like
looking?
the stress locks. You can
Yeah.
get boho locks, goddess
Oh well,
locks.
there's loads.
Goddess locks tend to be lighter because the hair underneath is
Yeah.
thinner. But I love locks. You see me with my
Oh,
knee
nice.
length
Yeah,
locks all
yeah, I
the
know, innit?
time. I
All
love
right.
locks.
Do you prefer braiding clients' hairs or braiding your own hair?
Clients, because I'm more like perfectionist with the rows. With me, these rows are just kind of
All over
like
the
all
place.
over. So yeah, clients.
Oh, nice. Okay, now we're gonna get into it. So, Tamara, could you tell me a little bit about your childhood?
Childhood. Um, yeah, I grew up between here and Wales. I'm one of four. And I've got loads of stepbrothers. There's like 10 of us in total.
Is that on like your dad's side with the
My stepdad,
stepbrothers? Yeah.
stepdad side. Went to like loads of primary schools, loads of secondary schools. Yeah, I don't know. Like my childhood is so big. It's like which part do I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I had a good childhood for the most part.
Oh, nice, nice, nice,
Mm.
nice. Now you share a lot of knowledge about like mental health on
Yeah.
your social media,
Hmm.
um, about depression, anxiety as
Yeah,
well,
and
isn't it?
PTSD. Yeah.
Um, and obviously it's quite touching, and I
Mhm.
feel like you're very bold and brave for doing that because
Thank
obviously a lot
you.
of it is based around your personal
Hmm.
experience. um when did you realize that your mental health started to deteriorate?
First time.
The very first time?
Um, very young actually. So like my dad passed away when I was 7. So I feel like that was like the first like, oh gosh, like things happen to kids. I think it started at 7, and then kind of up and down, up and down. Then I was kind of like bullied throughout primary school, so that was already like part of my character now to be depressed. But then when I was younger, I was diagnosed with body dysmorphia, like year
What is
5.
is that just how you see yourself? You see
Yeah, how you
yourself a
see
different
yourself, how
way?
you feel about yourself. Obviously, it's a lot more severe, but I could take a
Yeah,
whole half an hour talking about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And then in terms of like depression, anxiety, I was diagnosed when I was 16. And it's just been a roller coaster of emotions, I guess from 16 to obviously now 29. And then when I was 18, I was diagnosed with PTSD,
Yeah.
a complex PTSD, sorry, which I didn't know there was a difference.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yes, I've had
Yeah.
that since 16, but complex PTSD was at 18. It's a bit similar to, I guess, general PTSD,
Yeah.
but it involves more like voices, split personality. Yeah, it's a lot more to it.
Do
Does
you
that
feel
sound?
quite comfortable like going into the whole PTSD
Now I
from?
do.
Yeah,
Now I do.
would
I
you like
feel
to
like
share some of that with us?
which part of it?
I don't know, like how you started off having PTSD. Like, was it a trigger from like
Um,
the bullying? Was it a trigger from something else that happened, or
so at
maybe?
16, I feel like my biggest, I guess, known as PTSD, I had like really bad flashbacks.
Yeah.
I had like sleep paralysis. I couldn't sleep at night. I'll be woken up by it. I'll be scratching myself to sleep. Even saying it sounds so crazy compared to where I'm at now. But I would wake up with my hair on my pillow. I've been pulling it out of my sleep and not even knowing that had happened. And then by like 17, 18, I started to like hear voices. I'm like, what did you say? Did you say something?
Oh,
Not
okay.
realizing that it was all in my head and not anything to do with anybody
Yeah.
else. Um, so yeah, so they tried psychosis. They said I had schizophrenia. They said I had so many different things.
Did
And
they try
then
to give you like tablets for that and
they had
stuff?
gave me antidepressants, but nothing else. And then
Yeah.
when it finally was officially like, okay, cool, actually, you have complex PTSD, which is
Okay.
something that I didn't even knew existed. So it explained more to do how I kept feeling a certain way. Yeah, it was just a whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how do you know when you are going to have like a mental health like break, like an episode? So, for instance, with me personally,
Hmm.
I get I wouldn't say I have mental health problems, but there are times where I feel like I go through dips of kind of like depression,
Mhm.
and I anything can trigger it. It could be something that I've seen, it could be something that's happened in my day,
Mhm.
but it slowly takes a toll over the course of like 2 to 3 days. And I
Yeah.
notice it because like I feel like I'm quite a neat freak. Like my
Mhm.
house is tidy. So I know like when I go through these processes, like my house doesn't get messy, but I notice that if I take the washing off the line, I'll just put it on my bed
Yeah.
instead of hanging it up.
Mhm.
Or do you know what I mean? The dishes may pile up a bit in the sink.
Yeah, I
Is that similar?
definitely, yeah, it's very similar. I feel like the difference is like between feeling depressed and depression, I feel like depression is a constant battle. So like even days where I could go on holiday and feel like I'm having an amazing time, but every single second of that day I'm still feeling like I need to be upset about something. I need
Yeah.
to worry about something. But I'm like, there's actually nothing wrong. It's just in my head.
Mm.
But sometimes it's obviously a lot more harder, I guess, than just saying, oh yeah, just get up and go to the gym or go for a walk. It doesn't really work like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like how I know now, because I'm in a healthier space now. So now I will know by backlog of DMs
Mhm.
or my work. I'm like, oh my God, I got two today. I completely forgot I had two. I thought I had one. Like when work gets affected by it, but it's normally my bedroom. When my bedroom starts to get messy,
It's a
I'm
sign,
like,
isn't it? Like,
okay,
yeah.
cool. We need to like rethink this. But for me, routine is everything. And if anything stops my routine, my mind don't go, okay, well, we can't go gym today. We'll go tomorrow. My mind just goes complete meltdown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Everything goes out the window now. So I feel like, yeah, it's a bit easier to manage now. But back then, I feel like everything would have triggered me. If I even woke up on my phone, fell off the bed,
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
But now it's kind of like you've learned through your experiences how to kind of what to avoid.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean? How to kind of
yeah,
settle it
100%.
down
Some
and
days,
stuff
I feel
like
like
that.
this year, I've kind of had like, so I relapsed a lot at the beginning of this year,
Yeah.
but how I relapsed then is nowhere near compared to what I was relapsing before. So it's just a journey.
Nice. Now, before you started full time braiding as a
Hmm.
career, you was doing education and training, specializing in educational training for
Yes.
PSHE, is it?
Yes,
How
PSHE,
did you end
yes.
up in that field, and what did that job entail?
That's one of my favorite things I've ever done in my
Yeah.
life. So I did that from 16 to like 26, 27. So like 2011 to 2019.
Yeah.
How did I get into that? I think I'm a good way to fit this. Okay, cool. So like a lot of my mental health, which I've spoken about this already, comes from a lot of sexual trauma.
Yeah.
So I was doing therapy at the time, and it just happened that my therapist was close friends with my then manager. She's like, oh, I've got this young person, like she's been through a lot of the things you don't teach about, like give her a shot.
Yeah.
So I started volunteering and did a lot of training like sexual health, how professionals can talk with women who've been assaulted, and just like ways to work around it than just saying you're not a victim. Like, do you know what I mean? There was just more to it. I think when you've actually gone through it, what we want to hear isn't like what I guess they teach you on textbook. It's
Yeah.
very, very different. So
Turning pain to power,
yeah, that's kind of how
literally.
I fell into it. I was thinking, how can I say it without saying that? But there's
Yeah.
no way. But yeah, that's how I fell into it, and then I just loved it ever since.
Do you think you'll ever go back? Do you think you could do that as a full time career?
I could, 'cause I did it for years prior to
Yeah.
hair, but my main passion, I would say, is like teaching,
Yeah.
like one-to-one therapy, which is ironic because I feel like I do that more when I was a braider
Yeah.
than I was doing a male job.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'll find a way to put them together at some point.
Oh, nice. Um, and obviously you're currently working from home at the moment. You do braiding at
Mhm.
home.
Mhm.
Um, have you had any disrespectful clients? And if you have, or maybe not even disrespectful, maybe awkward or I would say disrespectful clients. How would you deal with
Disrespectful.
situations
Um,
like that?
I've had like the odd client here and there that haven't paid.
Uh,
Yeah.
So how? Hold on.
Yeah, over
I
the
would lock them
years,
in
I'm
my
so sorry if you're
house.
watching this. I'm so sorry. But yeah, over the years, I've had like a few. When I say a few, like two
Yeah.
probably, but two between 2015 and
Yeah.
2024 is okay. Where they've like, yeah, I'm gonna pay, but I'm just rushing, da da da, or my phone died. And I'm
Oh,
like, okay, well, I've done
okay.
your hair like 4 times. What's really gonna go wrong?
Yeah.
And then it's like 2 days have gone by, 3 days have
Oh,
gone
so they're
by,
sneaking by
and I'm
and
like, oh, okay,
yeah.
you're actually not trying to pay. So I've
Yeah.
had that. I think the only disrespectful thing I would say I've had is when I first started hair. I remember a girl came into my house and she's like, "Oh, you mix race."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "Wait, what?"
No, I've had that though.
And she's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you braid and you mix race." But I feel like it was a time where social media wasn't really known for what it is known for now. and I feel like a lot of girls growing up mixed race were like doing the wigs and the weave.
Yeah.
So it was very like there wasn't a big space for mixed race girls who braided.
Oh,
So like I understood, but at the same time I was thinking, oh my god. So I feel like I also had that pressure on me that as a mixed race woman, I need to make sure I'm doing this
yeah.
like A1, whether it's education, the teaching. I need to make sure I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
Like I've
yeah.
never actually said, like no one's ever actually said, "Oh, you're mixed race,"
Mhm.
so that's surprising.
No, the
But
disappointment at
to
the door was
hear,
like, oh,
but
what do you know about hair?
I see the facial expressions
Yeah, you
when they
see it.
open the door and they
Mhm.
don't expect you to be who
Mhm.
you are.
Yeah, but
But you
not
know,
since then. That
they
was the
end up
first year.
loving the hair, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Mhm. That's true.
um, I love your homemade oils. Are you still selling those oils at the
Yes,
moment?
I don't promote myself as much as I should.
I know,
Every time
girl,
I'm on
you need
TikTok.
to, because when I used it, it made my scalp feel very like rejuvenating, like
Oh,
just
amazing. That's
clean,
good to hear.
tingly. I love that tingly feeling.
Mhm.
Do you think you will expand on your oils, or do you feel like you will just keep it for your customers? So when you
Um,
do a client's hair, they can purchase it from you directly.
I feel like I will expand,
Yeah,
but I just feel like right now I'm not trying to take on more than I can manage.
exactly.
Because I feel like when I take on more than I manage, that's when the relapse start.
Hmm.
So I feel like until childcare and everything's at a good balance,
Yeah,
then I can be like, okay, cool. What else can we take on?
yeah,
Which will
that's
probably
true.
be the oils. I do hair oils, jewelry, like charms and stuff. Like scrunchies, crochet scrunchies. There's quite a few things, but my clients know because when they come, it's all kind of set up.
Yeah.
But in terms of
Do you
social media,
create
I
them
know.
yourselves? Like, do you make them from scratch?
Yeah,
Obviously, the
oils
charm.
all from
Yeah,
scratch. Charms we make them, the wire, the crystals and jewelry and
yeah.
stuff. The crochet scrunchies, my mum makes them.
I've seen them as well. Does she
Yeah,
still do the baby woolen as
yeah,
well?
yeah, yeah. The baby
Guys, if
blankets
you
and stuff.
when winter comes, if you want to get your little one like a woolly hat or gloves or
Hmm.
jumper, go to at Salone's range. Her mum does
Perfect.
some
Thank
amazing
you.
bit. um, okay, describe yourself in 3 words.
Self.
Yeah.
Okay. Loving. I feel like I'm very loving. Three. Loving. Um, don't know. Short. I'm a bit short. I'm looking for a short in there. Um, Determined. I feel like I'm very driven. Yeah, that's it. I'm very true.
Mm. I don't even know what I would
Yeah, I
say.
don't know. Like I don't think
I feel
about
like I'm
three.
quite strong-minded.
Hmm.
I feel like I feel like I'm loving,
Mm.
but at the same time I'm quite stubborn.
Stubborn
Just
or
being
protective?
honest. It can fall in both
Yeah.
categories, yeah, stubborn, protective. And yeah, I think I'm quite strong. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? But yeah, those are nice ones to explain yourself. Okay. What 3 things would you want to achieve or experience on your bucket list that you haven't so far?
But overall,
Yeah,
not hair
overall. It
related.
could it could no, not hair related. It could be personal.
Um,
It could be career as well.
bucket list. Like, want to be traveling with my son.
Yeah.
That's like 100%.
Have you taken them away before? Yeah.
No, we go back to Wales all the time, but not like outside of that.
Yeah.
I like to do that. Um, I'd love to own a big house with a sensory room for Riley and all my other kids when they come. Um, to be completely healed. I feel like that's like those are my 3 things. To be completely just healed, where I can talk about everything that's happened to me, like like this, and not be
Yeah.
like fidgeting or sweating or looking away. I can
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, this happened, and this is where I'm at now.
But you're almost there because this is
Almost
such a big
there.
step.
Amen. I'm
And
almost
going
there.
back to that, actually, you say you go back to Wales a lot. So
Hmm.
skipping back to school and the bullying. Did you go to a school in Wales, or
Yeah, I
was the
went to primary
bullying
school
from
in
here?
Wales. Most of the bullying was from here.
Yeah,
I guess the bullying was still in Wales as well, but Wales is more like race, like from a racial side, like oh
yeah.
yeah, make sure it's oh my god, you're black, da, da, da,
Is it
like
quite white orientated in Wales? Yeah,
yeah. Obviously, different parts of Wales are different, but where I was from it was like a proper like small town.
yeah.
It was quite bad, but I feel like most of my bullying came from here.
Okay. You have a handsome son, guys. Her son is
Thank
so
you.
handsome.
Thank you.
Um, he's adorable. So how old is he now?
He's 4, 5 next week.
Nice. I've seen you post on your Instagram
Hmm.
about his health condition, and like you
Hmm.
told me it was autism.
Yeah, so
Um,
Riley has global disability, which
yeah,
means it affects all parts of his main, I guess, things of living. So
Yeah.
he has epilepsy, cerebral palsy, and epilepsy.
Okay.
Epilepsy, autism, and cerebral palsy.
Do you find that all three of them get affected at the same time, or is it
No.
just different stages?
Different stages, but one can like trigger the
Yeah.
others. But yeah.
Okay, nice. So moving on, how was your childbirth, and at what point did you actually notice that there was something wrong with Riley?
Oh gosh, do you have time for that?
Yeah, but we've got all the time in
Okay,
the
we
world.
try to fit it very quickly. And this is not to scare anyone about pregnancy. My birth journey was like very traumatic. Um, my whole pregnancy was fine. Had no problems or nothing. And then when my water was actually broke, there was like quite a lot of bloods in it.
Yeah,
And poo and stuff. So normally in
that's
an
from the
ideal
baby,
world,
is it?
yeah, from
Yeah.
an ideal world, that should have been a straight emergency labor. When I got to the hospital, this was the first time I was thinking about this. But when I got to the hospital, they put me in the waiting room, left me on a monitor, and it's okay, cool, we're gonna come and check the heartbeat like once in a while.
Yeah.
I was left there for 4 hours. But obviously it sounds everyone else like 4 hours, how did you not say anything? It didn't feel like 4 hours. So in those 4 hours, his heart rate was dropping and obviously he was losing oxygen to the brain. So long story short, when they finally realised I was in the room, they was like, oh my god, we need to rush her for a C-section.
Yeah.
So in that process, he had basically had brain damage to the right side of his brain. So he had lost so much like
Yeah.
oxygen to the brain. Um, so that was like where it kind of started off. So he had a stroke basically.
Okay.
And then when he was born, I went into breastfeed and there was just like no support. So for like 3 days, he'd only had a little bit of like milk like once in 3 days. So his blood sugar levels dropped so like low that he had a seizure.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he was rushed to NICU. He was in NICU for over a month. And yeah, so within that time, that's when cerebral palsy started and obviously the stroke.
Yeah.
And yeah, about a few months later, that's when we had epilepsy. And then a year later, we got autism.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just been. I'm saying it very like blunt and quick to
No, no, no.
fit it
But
in, but
it's good to share because there's probably a lot of people as well that have gone through a similar or
mhm.
exactly the same process as you. So it's good to for them to see that they're not alone, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
it's true.
Was you able to stay with Riley when he was in the hospital?
For the first part, so like the
Yeah.
first week or so, I did, and then I had to go home and like, revisit him every single day, which is difficult when you just had a C-section
Yeah.
and there's no lift in your block. So
Yeah.
it was a lot.
Give my hats up to you. Mine wasn't that mine wasn't that bad, but obviously I got pregnant in COVID. So I
Yes,
had to
you
go
had
into hospital during
mhm.
COVID times and that was terrible. I feel like with my daughter, my waters didn't break until the second that she came out. They
Oh
broke just before.
wow.
And my daughter was 3.5 hours
Okay.
natural.
Mhm.
My son was 5.5 hours natural. So my waters broke at 4:30 p.m.
Mhm.
and I had him at 9:30. So once my waters broke, we went to the hospital and these times your partner's not allowed
Yeah,
in
yeah,
with
of
you.
course, yeah.
Um, so then yeah, I was on the ward. I waited for like 2 hours, um, but I could tell that I was gonna have him very very soon.
Mm.
And then I got into the room and they check how dilated you are, and she was like, "You're not dilated. You need to go home." And I was like, "I'm telling you, I'm gonna have this baby any second now."
Mhm.
She was like, "We can't do nothing. You have to go home." I was a bit confused because what I've been told before is once your waters break, they shouldn't send you home
Yeah.
because there's infection and all that
Mhm,
stuff.
of course, yeah.
So then we went back downstairs and I really needed to go toilet. And then obviously I took down my trousers, so much blood was there. So what happened was between the time of her checking me, I
Mhm.
dilated 0 to 10 like that. So it was a lot more painful than
Yeah,
it
of course,
normally
yeah.
is. And then we went back upstairs and then 10 minutes later I had him. So that was in itself mad.
Yeah. And was that vaginal birth or
But
cesarean?
no,
Okay.
vaginal birth. Luckily
Okay.
enough, I haven't had to have a cesarean.
Mhm.
But then anyway, yeah. So I had to stay in hospital for a bit because I tore
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I told my daughter as well. Um, and then on the Wednesday before leaving, I found like a little lump at the back of my leg. So I was like to
Okay.
the nurse, I found a lump at the back of my leg. It hurts when I touch it. What is it? So I'm here and she's probably at the curtains.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, it's just a varicose vein." Okay, cool. It's a varicose vein.
Oh,
So then I went home, and obviously no one's allowed at your house. No nurses are allowed at your
yeah.
house. So then a nurse from King's um video called me and then I explained that the lump had moved twice. And then she was like, "That's a blood clot. You need to go to the
Mhm.
hospital."
Mhm.
So then we went to the hospital. I'm gonna jump back to we went back to King, sorry.
Mhm.
I had my son in St. Thomas's.
Yeah, same.
So when I was at St. Thomas's, I
Mhm.
also wanted to breastfeed. So I had to do the COVID
Yeah.
test, but then there was like you can't attend the class because obviously your results haven't come back for the COVID
Okay,
test.
okay.
Bearing in mind that we're all on the same ward and
Mhm.
the door is open,
Mhm.
so they gave me like a little what do you call it? Like what you use for medicine, syringe.
Okay,
And
yeah,
there
yeah.
was like Hand Express 2.5,
Mhm.
is it
Mhm.
milliliters, the
Mhm.
smallest amount, and then give it to him. So that's what I was doing, thinking that he was getting enough milk. He wasn't.
Mhm.
So when I went into hospital, he came with me and they found out that he was jaundiced a little bit just because he
Okay.
wasn't getting enough milk.
Milk, yeah.
And then with me, they noticed that I had like an 18 centimeter blood clot, but it wasn't in the main vein. It was in like
Mm.
they call it artificial vein,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
small
yeah.
veins. So then I wanted to breastfeed. I was determined, but because I then had the blood clot, I didn't want to inject myself, so I was taking the tablets.
Mm.
With the tablets, you can't
Yeah,
breastfeed.
yeah, of course. Yeah.
So then, yeah, I wasted all that milk. Then I was like, I'm wasting too much milk. I need to take the
Mm.
injections. Done that for 6 weeks. So the process was very long, especially during COVID times.
Yeah, of course.
So guys, the struggle is real when you have these
So how are you
babies.
now? You now? It didn't like results like thrombosis or anything. Like it was just a clot and it's
No,
gone.
no, no. It's a clot. The last time I got it checked, it was 18 centimeters, then it went down to 7.
Okay.
But after 7, they don't check it again.
Okay.
They don't check it again. So I was getting pain in it again. A couple months, I'd say like a year after the whole
Okay.
thing. And then I got it checked and they was like, oh, there's nothing there. It's 2 centimeters.
Okay.
But what it did was caused scarring
Oh
of the
yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah,
vein.
yeah.
So yeah, so I haven't got it checked since.
Okay.
But we have to go through this and it will only
Listen.
make us
Mhm.
stronger.
Mhm.
So that is crazy. Okay, in regards to your son,
Mhm.
has it been difficult to find like nurseries and schools for him that will specialize and deal with
Yeah,
be attentive towards his needs?
100%. It's been very difficult. His nursery was amazing.
Yeah.
If you live in Lambeth, Homewood Nursery is like the best nursery I could even talk about. That was really good. Um,
Do they specialize in like autism and stuff
they
like that?
do.
Yeah.
It's not a special need nursery,
Yeah.
but they've got like some amazing SEN workers there. They've got like a sensory room as well, so the
Oh,
kids can come out. They
amazing.
got a farm in the nursery. Like it's just perfect.
Yeah.
His primary school, however, it's been very difficult. So he only goes to school for 2 hours a day, and I work from 8 a.m. to about 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So those 2 hours is very challenging.
Hmm.
At the moment, we're in the process of getting him into a special needs school, but Lambeth alone have over 2,000 kids that need
Yeah.
to be in a special needs school that are not. So it's a very hopeful but long process.
Yeah. Just got to stay hopeful, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm.
What is your proudest moment? It could be in your personal career. It could be in your braiding career. It could be anything it could be
Proudest
because of your
moment.
son. It could be because of your mom. Like it could be
Yeah, I feel like
anything.
there's too many. I feel like there's honestly so many.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was to pick three at random, um, a few years ago, like 2018, I went to South Africa.
Yeah.
Um,
Was that trip that you done with that
yeah,
girls trip? That looks so good.
yes, that was honestly amazing. It was a company called Soul Fam. They kind of like split their ways now, but Daniel Ben, I think her name's on Instagram, amazing. So she made us all climb this like tall mountain in South Africa. And at this point, when this morphe had just come back, I was depressed. I was really overweight for me anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't do this, guys. I can't. And her and her husband was like, look, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the process of me actually fighting against what I think I could do and what I actually could do.
Mhm.
So getting to that mountain and just climbing above the clouds, that was like one of my like proudest moments, I would
Yeah.
say. Of recent, my son's starting to speak.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
that's like one of my proudest like moments. What else random? Okay, this is very random. Recently I went and got a wax. So it's just random, but it's important
Do
to
you
me.
get Hollywood or do you get all off? What the Hollywood is all off, right?
I don't think so.
Or is it Brazilian?
No, Hollywood.
Ah,
Yeah, like I was
I
like,
think
oh,
Brazilian's
I
a
just go
little
can for
strip.
front and back. That's why I ever say. So I'm
Okay.
assuming it's Hollywood, but yes, I've been having my wax lady for
Yeah.
ages. And yeah, I was getting my wax done, just talking as usual. And my legs started shaking when she was doing my wax, and she's like, "Why does your leg shake? Like I don't understand." And normally I'll just laugh it off and be like, "Oh, sorry, it's just like anxiety, it's just anxiety,
Yeah.
whatever." And for the first time ever in years, I actually told her my reason without crying, without
Yeah.
sweating, without anything. I was just like, well, in my past, I was assaulted sexually, and anything that goes near me around this area, my body doesn't know it's a wax lady, it doesn't
Yeah.
know it's a partner, doesn't know anything. It just thinks like we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So my body goes into a natural, like, I guess, like
Fight or
fight or
flight
flight
mode. Yeah.
reaction, even now at 29,
Yeah.
and it's happened at 16. And I was just like, I found myself speaking about it so calm. And I was like, oh my gosh, my therapist would be so happy
Yeah.
to see me today to be able to speak about this and not, yeah, just not be in like a nervous mood. I was just like, yeah,
Would you recommend therapy? Because I actually want to start therapy for
100%,
certain things in my life. Do you feel like it's
100%.
beneficial?
Therapy, I don't think I would be here without therapy.
Yeah.
And I feel like people think they have to be really bad off
Yeah.
before therapy, or they have to have a mental health diagnosis before. Like, you can have therapy for just day to day life.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very, very important. And there's different. I went through NHS, but then the flip side to that is a lot of NHS therapies only last 1 to 2 years,
Yeah.
and then you have to go off and find your own therapy.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously, if you go private or like charity based, a lot of them can be for a longer time, which I felt like I needed. But mine was only 2 years. But in those 2 years, it was amazing. I've had like 17 different therapists over the years, but that one,
Yeah.
if I found her today, I'd probably hug her.
What is it from BetterHelp? Did you go on BetterHelp
No,
or
I went through Slam.
Slam?
It's like a very generic charity, but
Yeah.
it's through NHS. I think, I don't know if
Oh,
you
okay. Yeah, I
could
tried
probably
NHS,
self-diagnose.
but they said I wasn't. I feel like NHS, they mainly, from what I got from speaking to the guy, like suicidal, like deep
Yeah,
mental.
yeah,
Yeah.
mental health. Yeah, even when I was at my worst and I was like self-harming every day, I
Yeah.
still couldn't get the help that I needed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but yeah,
Not being too intrusive,
that's fine.
there's two things that I want to know. So,
Yep.
firstly, in regards to your self harming,
Hmm.
was self harming like a sense of relief? Like, as you're self harming, does
Hmm.
it actually feel painful, or does it feel like, when I was going back to my niece and her
Yeah,
autism,
yeah,
the kind of, does it? Can you feel the pain, or is it more of a
yeah.
sensation that, like a satisfying sensation? And how did you manage to get yourself to stop self harming?
Hmm. Okay, good question. All right. If I'm being completely honest, yeah, without
Yeah.
sounding like morbid, I feel like it's different for everybody. Everyone has a different experience of it. I feel like with me, it depends on what triggered me. Like, if I was angry, I would feel the pain. I don't want to get into like the ways I would do it because I feel
Mhm.
like sometimes
No.
it's not the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are a lot more, I guess, physical conflicts, and I could feel the pain. I would bleeding at times. It was very traumatic. Other times it was I wanted to release and didn't know how to release. So a release for me was on myself.
Yeah.
But then I feel like self harm is usually spoken about like cutting yourself or pulling your hair or like those kind of things. But I don't think we realize self harming can also be me going all day without eating, knowing what it's going to do to me, knowing
Yeah.
it's going to put me in a bad mood. I'm going to feel low. And when I feel low, it then kicks off depression, and the depression then kicks off anxiety. And before you know it, I can't even hold my son
It's
at
like
night.
dominoes, isn't it?
It's literally a
Yeah.
domino effect. So I feel like sometimes self harming can literally just be something as small as, not showering in the morning.
Yeah.
Or, there's like so many things that self harming can also be before. Like, you could be doing those things for like 2, 3 years before you start going to other things and not even realizing that maybe you've been self harming for years. So I feel like taking more insight to the things you're doing now can sometimes possibly prevent you from getting was that was me for
Yeah.
years. I was self-harming in every other way. I had a few moments over the years where like I tried to overdose, been in hospital,
Yeah.
but to me that wasn't self-harming. That was just like, okay,
Is
that's
that
more
like a cry
suicidal.
for help kind of thing?
No, not at all. I don't feel it was nothing to I just feel like I was done. Like,
Yeah.
I got to the point where I just felt numb to everything, and that was the only way out I saw for myself. And a lot of times, especially working in mental health,
Yeah.
it's sometimes worse because then you're more aware of why you do what you do. But then when you have mental health and work in mental health, it's like, okay, cool, I know better. I know what I should be doing. I know what I need, but I can't physically get to that stage yet. So
Yeah.
I'm still at this paralyzed stage. So I feel like, no, I don't think cry for the help was what I would say. I think it was more just I wanted to silence it. Some people
Mhm.
might be put the headphones on just to stop the noise. Like, that
Yeah.
was how I processed. process that, to be fair.
And working in mental health, did you find that because obviously you get to know other people's stories as well, isn't
Hmm.
it? Did you find that you was taking a lot of their stories home?
A lot of the time,
Yeah.
especially a lot of our work was around like sexting, sexual
Yeah.
assault and domestic violence, like where a lot of our job was more kind of like that kind of stuff, as
Yeah.
opposed to just like, oh, this is what puberty is. It was a lot more
Deeper.
challenging.
Yeah.
So taking it home, yeah, it was difficult, but at times it helped me because I was like, okay, cool, I'm not alone. Okay, well, this person got through it,
Yeah.
so I can get through. It's like when I see braiders. Um, did you hear the girl Momo's hair?
Does she? I haven't seen
See this
her in
woman, yeah.
years though. Is
Go
she
and
still
follow
up?
Memo's hair, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like my inspiration as a braider. She has, I don't even know how many kids. To
She in
me, it
like
feels like she,
London braider or
yeah, I think she's London.
yeah.
She has about 5 daughters, I think, 4, 5, maybe more. But seeing her be able
Yeah.
to braid, international braider, going abroad and has so many kids, it's like, I'm here with one and I get it, my son's disability, so it's a bit harder. But I've got one kid. And if
Yeah.
she can do what she's doing, what's stopping me from doing
Exactly.
one
Yeah.
child?
So she's an inspiration.
Yeah, that's how I look at mental health. So there was a lot of
Yeah.
people that I would see suffering really, really bad. And I'm like, well, okay, well, if they can now be here,
Hmm.
what was stopping me from being there?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Do you feel like it's literally all in the state of mind? Like, do you feel like since going through your like the whole process and your experience, do you feel like you can control the way you feel by what you think, kind of thing?
Yeah, I
Because
feel
that,
like
yeah,
eventually you can.
yeah,
I feel like our biggest stereotype or assumption is that mental health is the mind.
yeah,
Whereas I feel like mental health has so many physical side effects to it
hmm,
than just the mind.
yeah,
So I do feel like the main goal is to get your mind to a state where you are more in control
yeah,
or like come into the light a bit more. But yeah, it's not an overnight. I've been
yeah,
dealing with this since 16 and it's only now that I can actually say
yeah,
I feel like I'm
hmm,
better. Not
yeah,
cured, but
yeah.
I'm better.
And that's the reason why I was saying that, because for me, it's like I will say stuff.
Hmm.
I will basically conjure up a whole story in my mind that's
Hmm.
not even. I can do that in like 1.2
Yeah.
seconds. Do you know what I mean?
Same.
And then from there, it's just like a down. You literally
Hmm.
have to. For me, I literally have to say, Latara, you don't need these thoughts.
Yeah, the prep
And then, do you
talk
know what I mean?
is,
Yeah,
yeah, I feel like once you find what motivates you,
yeah,
and everything's different. I think me, recent, last like year, mine has literally been God, like Christ has been like my biggest thing.
yeah,
But prior to that, I never had like a foundation. And it's so crazy. Yeah, I got a son. People are like, oh, your son should be enough. And for the most part, when you actually suffer with your mental health,
mm-hmm,
sometimes your children isn't enough. And it sounds so like you're gonna get dragged for
yeah.
saying it, but
But
it is the
yeah,
reality.
it
Sometimes I
is.
can look at my son in his face and I'm still sitting here feeling like
Yeah.
I could just walk out and get on to him right now and I wouldn't feel away.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing is, you're unwell. Like, it
Yeah.
sounds so crazy, but to have mental health, you are unwell. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you still need a recovery stage
Yeah.
that a lot of us just think, oh, well, it's in your mind. Like, go over it, go and pray,
No.
or
Mm-mm.
go for a walk. And
It's
it's
deeper
like,
than that.
it's so much deeper to the core
Yeah.
of you. It's like you're literally rebirthing. Like, I feel like a completely different woman
Mm-hmm.
now to how I was this time last
Yeah.
year. So, yeah.
And I feel like when you go back to children, people can say, oh, look at your child and you'll feel fine. But actually, the reality and the rawness is sometimes children will add to the stresses also.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's
How?
just like, I'm not going to, it's
No,
the
it's true.
reality
It's
of
true.
it.
It's true. How I look at it, how I just like to speak to my students before, it's like having mental health is like having two glasses on or
Yeah.
two set of eyes. It's like, yes, these are your eyes, but it's almost like you got one more set of eyes inside. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to see through the mental health first before you can see the reality. And
Yeah.
sometimes that other set of eyes is so like tainted that you can't even see anything here.
Yeah.
So it becomes a bit harder. But yeah,
You're doing a great job. And the last
thank you.
intrusive thing that I just want to know personally, just
Yeah.
because I know people that have been through what you've been through and stuff like
Mm.
that. And it's in regards to your sexual abuse that you've
Okay.
mentioned.
Okay.
Um,
Go on. Look at me, my sleeves already. Look at me.
if it's too intrusive, please let me know.
That's okay.
But okay, when you was sexually abused at age 16,
Hmm.
was it by someone you knew or was it a complete stranger? And also, were they then like caught and arrested and did like
Oh gosh.
were they
It was someone that I knew,
yeah.
and no, as far as I know, no, it wasn't caught or anything. As far as I know, there was like other cases. It wasn't like it was just me,
Yeah.
and then that was it. There's been people prior, people after,
Was
but
his targets like sorry, male or female? Sorry.
I'm assuming female. I don't know if it was.
Was the assaulter like male or female?
Oh, male, male, male.
Yeah. And did you find that they were like he was targeting young people, or was it variety age
Um,
range?
I feel like it was a variety of age
Hmm.
range. With my situation, I feel like it was very different
Yeah.
compared to like how we knew each other, how the day even happened.
Yeah.
It was very targeted. But
You know what? You
yeah, it's
are
actually the first
glowing.
time I've
Yeah.
ever said that. I've actually ever spoken about it out loud.
Yeah.
Normally I'm just like, you know, whispering about it, like, I don't know, but I don't know. I feel like my biggest hurdle in my life is that, and I feel like
Yeah.
until I let that go completely, and just not feel ashamed by it.
Yeah.
Like,
It
and I f-
doesn't determine who you
yeah,
are
because I
as
feel
a
like I could talk
person.
about this topic all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rawness to it, the good to it, the bad to it, but often we feel like I can't talk about it, because I'm going to be embarrassed or I'm going to
Yeah.
be looked a certain way, or they can look at me in the camera and just. But I used to think people could look at me and can tell, oh, she's been assaulted.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know I'm healing from it, but I'm still not at the stage where I can say the R word. I
Hmm.
can't say like
Yeah.
that word. I just call it assault because for me it just sounds more generic
Yeah.
than the darkness of that word.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is the first time I can actually be like, okay, cool, this happened, but so what? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not the person I was then.
And now you're growing and glowing. And
Like
you've
that.
learned from it.
Yeah.
And the best thing is you can now educate others on it, or
Mm.
be there for people that, even random people that may want to come to you and speak to you about
Yeah,
things because they've seen it
100%.
on your story.
And the
So
thing is, it affects my job. I don't think people
yeah,
understand this. And I was even talking about it yesterday about my content on Instagram and where I want to go with it. And I feel
yeah,
like it's so hard for me to be able to make content around being a braider of mental health, but I feel like it's needed.
hmm,
Because even like little things, like that thing that everyone wears, the watch,
oh
the
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
gel. I can't have anything on my wrists because it triggers me.
hmm,
But there's not really a niche for like, okay, these are products made for women that or men who suffer with that.
yeah.
So I feel like it affects my job on a daily basis, but there's not really like a platform for that
You got a
yet.
business idea. That's your
Mm.
business idea,
Mhm.
babe.
Mhm.
All right, I see that you love to cook. I'm always looking at your food on your
Yes.
page.
Yes.
What is it? The cooking section on highlights,
Oh
is
yeah.
it? Oh, her food looks banging.
Thank
Are you
you.
vegetarian or vegan?
No, I was vegan for a while,
Yeah.
but now I just eat.
Oh, so you're happy with anything. What's your favorite dish to cook?
To cook. Okay, I'm gonna sound like so British when I say this. I love a casserole. I can't lie to you.
Yeah.
I love a
I haven't had
casserole.
a casserole since primary
I
school, I
know,
think.
I love it. Like obviously
Damn.
it's not like casserole how I was growing up on,
No, yeah.
but I just love everything in like a one pot.
Yeah.
I love that. Um, my day to day is like a teriyaki
Yeah.
or barbecue, like something simple. Like it's very rare I'm in a mindset to be able to cook like
Mhm.
something like crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, if you could be an animal, this is a random one. If you could be an
Mhm.
animal, what animal would you be?
I don't know. Animal. I've never ever thought about that.
It's a random one.
I
Gotta throw them in there.
don't even know. I feel like I'd be something that flies. I don't
Something that
know.
brought like strength.
Like a bird. I don't know. I feel like I'd
What
be.
what is that? I don't even know. Have you seen Harry Potter?
Yeah, don't
What
remember
is
it long
that
enough.
bird?
I don't know, the big, big, big one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember the names. I don't
I
remember
think
any
you'll
of the
be something
names.
like that because
Yeah, I'll
you've
be a
been
bird.
through a lot
Not a
and
pigeon.
now you're soaring.
Amen. Yeah, so I'll be a
Yeah.
bird. Some sort of bird.
All right. Could you share some advice on how individuals could gain self love, or how they could, as you say,
Hmm.
um, put themselves back together?
Um, okay, if I'm being honest, I would say tips that work for me was being honest with myself.
Yeah.
And that's been more so the last month. Like prior to this month, I feel like I've just been in like autopilot. Like
Hmm.
I'm better. I don't need help. I'm better. Because I feel like this last like 2 months, it's like February, I've had to actually sit with myself and be raw. Like it's like shadow work. Like like not only because we always taught to look in the mirror and tell yourself how positive you are and how good you
Yeah.
are, but it's very rare we're taught to actually sit in that mirror and talk about your flaws, where you've gone wrong, who you've hurt in the past, where you need work. That's been one of my biggest like breakthroughs. Like this last month,
Yeah.
I can actually say I've actually sat with myself and been like, okay, cool, you need help here, or you're still doing certain things because of this. That's been like
Yeah.
my biggest tip. I would say is actually talk to yourself honestly and
Yeah.
not just the toxic positivity. I would say be honest with yourself. Um, two, create a realistic routine that works for you. I feel like when we talk about like self work or self healing, we talk about all the positives. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go gym, I'm gonna cook, but sometimes they're goals that are not realistic right now.
Mhm.
So make a realistic goal that you can stick to. Like, even if it's okay, cool. Once a day, I don't know, I'm gonna spend 20 minutes just listen to music.
Mhm.
I'm gonna spend 20 minutes going for a walk. Like, whatever's realistic for your routine or your
Yeah.
schedule, 100%, I would say do that. And three, get better friends.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Get
like
those friends.
that's been my biggest turnover this last year.
Yeah.
I went from knowing loads of people, speaking to loads of people, whereas now I speak to the same three girls
Yeah.
every single day, and they're amazing. Like, I know if I'm feeling low, I can actually say to my girl, and I like, look, I'm a bit like I'm not really feeling great
Mhm.
today, and it's not gonna be, oh, let's go get a drink.
Yeah.
That might come after,
Mhm.
but it's gonna be like, okay, cool. Well, what's triggering you right now? How do you
Yeah.
feel? So having a good network around you
Yeah.
is just, yeah,
I think
everything.
the self-love bit got me when you said you have to be raw with yourself and
Mhm.
truthful,
Mhm.
because I am struggling to do that now. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's hard.
It's
Like, how,
hard.
what does that look like? Because
Babe.
with me, sometimes I am wrong and strong, and
Mhm. Mhm.
it's like I let things that have happened in the past push people away
Yeah.
because of that, because it
Mhm.
feels like you're still living that,
Yeah. It's not easy.
but then you're not recognizing what you've done.
Yeah.
It's all about,
It's one of the hardest
yeah.
things, but honestly, like, Lottie, it's gonna be a
Mm,
breakthrough. 'Cause I feel like these last few months, I went through something that was like crazy, and I was like, my initial response, like, I don't care, I don't care. And then
yeah.
I actually sit with myself thinking, okay, cool. Was this actually all happened or all collapsed because of things like you had done, or
Mhm.
why was you doing these things? I had to sit in that mirror like this, like, all right, cool. You know, you're not that great. I was thinking, wait, what? Saying it out loud
Yeah.
now, like, sounds crazy. But I would do it across the board. Even as a braid, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not even that good at braiding. Like, let's be real. Like, I would speak like that and dissect it bit by bit. Then the uplifting bit is like, okay, cool, but
What
uh,
can you do to?
yeah, or I'll be like, okay, cool, but what makes you good at braids? Then I tell myself. So it's like I'll break myself down,
Yeah.
but then rebuild it with the truth, and not just like, yeah, but I'm great because of this. Like, I actually will sit and think about every single thing.
Yeah.
So for mental health side, everything, I've just been like, okay, cool. Recent. For us to actually heal, we need to actually be honest with ourselves and not just think like wrong and strong. Like, okay, cool. I know I'm good, or I act this way, I'll push people away because I got mental health. Mental health is not an excuse. So yeah, it makes things harder,
Yeah.
but it's not an excuse for things that I might have done in the past or
Mhm.
things I'm still doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
that darkness is something to tap into.
Exactly. I'm actually gonna try that.
Please.
Let me just, yeah. Yeah, I'll try that. Um, what did you do for your last self-care day? Do you tend to do self-care days more often now?
um, no. I just spoke about this today actually. Someone's like, "Oh, what do you do for your me time or something?" I was like, "I don't have
Yeah.
me time." What I tend to do now is I like block it out in the calendar.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So people know I work long hours. I do like three,
Mhm.
4 box braids a day. Yeah,
How
yeah.
do you fit that in?
I start at like 8. It's usually like
But you're
three.
quite quick though, to be fair, so
Yeah,
you
it's
get it
like 3 to
done.
4 hours per
Yeah.
client. I keep looking up here, sorry.
That's fine.
But yeah, so I'd work Monday to Saturday,
Yeah.
sometimes Sunday, but Monday to Saturday. So where I know I work all day long every day, I will look at the calendar before they go out. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take a week out here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take 2 days out here. I'd prefer to do it like that
Mhm.
than just, oh, 20 minutes a day. It just doesn't
Mm.
work for me because then if I
Yeah.
don't get those 20 minutes, I'm not gonna be thinking, oh my god, my day's ruined now or
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm trying to put like, my thing I'm at the moment is Bible study. Like, I will try my best,
Yeah.
at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. Sit with my notepad, sit with my Bible, and think, cool. Open a random page. What's the message here? And
Yeah.
write it down. That's just my journey.
Yeah.
But long term, I'm trying to get to a stage where at least once a day, I have a segment
Yeah.
that is just for me. But not right now.
How do you find Bible study? Because obviously I read the Bible. I wouldn't call myself religious. I'm not religious. I
Hmm.
don't believe in religion. However, I do believe in God. I feel like
Hmm.
if you are a believer of God, religion should not get in the way of that.
Hmm.
And you do your thing in your own time
Hmm.
with Him. But I struggle to dissect what the Bible is telling me. Like, I always feel like, oh, maybe I need to go to church so they can tell me
Hmm.
what I'm actually reading here. I don't know if it's because I
Yeah.
got the old version. I think it's the
No, I
old
don't
King
think it.
James
I don't think it
version.
makes a difference
Yeah.
personally. I just feel like, I don't know. I was growing up that church is within you.
Yeah.
Not to say that church isn't good. Church is good for everybody, But me personally,
Mm.
I just go by myself. So my Bible study is literally me and my Bible. I'm not in a room, I'm not with other people, which works for other people, but for me it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I will literally just have my Bible, open it on a random page, and I just let go of what I guess a guide of what I think I
Mhm.
should be like. I never think to myself now, what's God trying to tell me? What's Jesus like? I don't do that now. Now I
Yeah.
just try and feel what the message is and I write down. So basically, it's like every verse I'm reading, I'm rewriting in my, what I think it is. And
Okay,
before I
that
know it,
sounds
6 pages of my own notepad is
yeah.
basically like rewriting like what I think like that works for me.
Yeah.
I go to there's a thing called the thing there's a what do you call it? There's a thing on Instagram called Found Brunch.
Yeah.
It's run by like 3 or 4 women, absolutely amazing, and they run brunches once, I think like once a month or something. That I attend
Yeah.
because it doesn't feel like church. It doesn't feel like pressure to learn a certain thing. And everyone's there for different reasons. Some people are a Christian, some people just believe in a God.
Yeah.
Like it's a variety of different things, but we're all coming there for one thing, which is God. And they do like activities on a
Yeah.
day, testimonies, like pastor will come and speak. Like I attend that by force, like once a month that I will definitely attend. Fun bunch. Um but yeah, that's just yeah, I call it Bible study because
Yeah.
I'm still me learning, but yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, that's good. Would you actually consider starting up your own mental health convention? Like,
I would love to.
yeah,
Like there's so many things I would love to do if I had the time. And I used to think, oh, well, I'm running out of time, or I would see
yeah,
something about, oh, well, this person's done it before me. But again, not to bring everything back to God, but I just feel like
your
ever
time will
since
come.
I started learning that what God has for me is for nobody else.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that pressure, I'm not running out of time. I'm not, having to rush. I'm literally going at the pace that God has given me. So I don't watch anyone else. I
Yeah.
don't think, oh, but this guy's got a salon and this girl's got
Yeah.
like, I just, it sounds weird, but I just really just,
You just have to live in your own.
yeah,
Do you
like
know what I
it means
mean?
absolutely nothing to me now. This is my path. Let's go.
That is how we should do it, though.
Amen.
Yeah. Do you enjoy reading at all?
I love reading.
Could you recommend like 5 books that you would
5
yeah, 5 books that
books.
you would recommend people to read that could
5.
teach them something?
5. Okay. 5. Um, other books I have. There's one book called "To See Yourself How You Truly Are."
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, that's been one of my biggest breakthrough books ever because it actually like it breaks down like different forms of meditation, but it usually breaks down to see yourself as like basically saying like we have the it's like a Buddhism book.
Yeah.
But as I say, like we have the ignorance almost of the word I. Like
Mhm.
we think I is so much more than what it actually
Yeah.
is. When we are no different to this chair, we're no different to this lamp, whatever, this microphone. Like we are on the same level. And once we look at ourselves as the same as everything else, we're able to actually build ourselves back up.
Yeah.
Whereas when we keep thinking I, it just we become more crowded than
Mhm.
actually just being more grounding.
Yeah.
So that's like one of my main books. I would definitely recommend reading. Um, Okay, it's more like sexual assault based, but
Yeah.
there's a book called Beauty to Ashes, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which is crazy. 'Cause my whole life reading this book, I couldn't resonate with it because I
Yeah.
wasn't religious. I didn't believe in anything.
Mhm.
So, but it's basically healing through sexual trauma, but through Christ. By the time I read it, I was just thinking, this book is just boring. I don't get any of this. Whereas now, rereading it now,
Yeah.
I've been there crying with it. I'm like, oh my god, I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's I guess another book. Um, That's what I can think about on the spot.
No, that's good.
When
They
clients come
actually
to my
sound
house,
very
they see all my
interesting.
books on the shelf and they're like, "Oh, can I read them?" I'm like, "Yeah, go take
Yeah.
one, babe. Go read it." But on the spot, no,
Do you ever journal?
no, no. The things I used to try, but then I
Yeah.
realized like it's not for everyone. Like
Mhm.
there's other way of journaling than actually pen and paper.
Yeah.
Whereas pen and paper is such that's my safe space. So for me to do something that's a safe space, I have to feel safe.
Yeah.
So if I'm like busy running around all day, I don't associate my day now with being able to sit, like to actually sit and write. It takes a lot,
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
your mind, even to read a book now, like your mind has to actually be like still,
Yeah.
silent, like. And as a mum as well, when do we ever get that moment? And my son doesn't go bed to 1 a.m. every
Yeah.
day, yeah. By the time he actually goes to sleep, I'm like, okay, it's 1 a.m., but I've got work at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
and I got to just sleep. So I'm in a routine of just working, sleep, work, sleep. There's no time
Mhm.
to even read a book, let alone journal.
Yeah.
So my journaling sounds crazy. It's more just speak out loud. I'll just be washing up and I'm speaking to myself.
Yeah.
That's my way of like
My daughter's
journaling.
always telling me I'm mad because I speak to myself.
Babe,
But I feel like it's helpful,
it's
no?
healthy. It is so healthy.
Yeah. Or some people like to do like audio,
Yeah, yeah. Some people,
audio
yeah,
in
do
it, journaling
audio or
as well.
writing their phone and stuff.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. What are the next steps for Salone's range?
Next steps. It's crazy because I remember I had a car crash like 2022,
Yeah.
yeah?
Oh, I didn't even mention
So
that. I saw. How can
that's,
I forget that?
that's fine.
I'd done my
That's
research.
absolutely fine.
How
But
did that happen? Sorry.
oh my
What
God,
went on with that? Because
babe,
I saw that and I was like, what on earth happened?
I don't even know how. I don't even know how. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had a car crash in 2022 August.
Yeah.
The reality is I was driving, I fell asleep. That's literally
Mm.
it. Like I literally blinked for like less than 5 minutes,
Yeah.
5 seconds, sorry, and my car just
Did
flipped.
it clip the curb or something?
And my car clipped the corner of a parked car,
Oh,
and my car
okay.
just like yeah, literally flipped. And then because the car's upside down, I went into the windscreen. But obviously, the windscreen is on the ground, so it
Yeah.
literally was the impact of the concrete. Crazy, like I cracked my spine at 4 places. Like it
Wow.
was, I was like, even when they told me so you cracked your spine, the first thing I said, yeah, babe, was, "Oh my God, can I braid? Not
Yeah.
my
I was
son,
gonna say
not
that.
can I
Yeah.
walk." I've asked about hair, but yeah. So prior to that car crash,
Yeah.
I just started like teaching again. So I was going into like there was a charity called the Gaia Centre.
Okay.
So in Brixton, so like a lovely friend of mine, like reached out, I was like, "Tam, would you like to do this?" So I've gone
Yeah.
to that, and what I was doing was they wanted to do sessions around learning how to braid and learn how
Mhm.
to do hair, and I was just like, I don't think that should be the focus. Like, I know a lot of us teach braiding,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's so much other levels before you get to actually braiding,
Yeah.
and I was like, I feel like we need to learn to just love our natural hair before we get to that stage. So it ends up becoming sessions around natural hair and like the mental health connected to our hair. And when we're feeling low, how's our
Yeah.
hair be affected? What we eat, how that
The
affects our
hair gets
hair.
affected, boy.
Yeah, listen. So we was
Damn.
basically just doing sessions with young women who have been like abused or been homeless. Like it was like a refugee sort based. And yeah, just talking about natural hair. What myths have you heard? Let's talk
Yeah.
about these myths. You know, as a braider,
Mhm.
there are so many myths around braids and hair and what's
Yeah.
protective now. That was my like I
Mhm.
could talk about hair care all day long compared to like, all right, well, put this hair over here, and
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
really have a passion for that. So I was doing that for a while. Obviously, I had a car crash. I couldn't do that
Yeah.
anymore. So I feel like I want to get back in to teaching hair as opposed to teaching how to cane or how to
Yeah.
braid. I was thinking, why have I not done it yet? But yeah, I just feel like I'm at this journey right now, sorry, where I'm going between my passion and my purpose
Yeah.
and the difference of the two. And I feel like my passion is hair and braiding.
Mhm.
I feel like my purpose is teaching,
Yeah.
but it's just finding what capacity.
Do
But
you kind
yeah,
of struggle now when braiding, or do you have to wear like a back brace when you're standing for so long?
um, I wouldn't really say struggle, but I have to take more breaks.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is where I'm trying to get the education out for
Yeah.
braiders because when you haven't gone through something, you think, yeah, I can do this for time. Like I'll see
Mm.
Instagram reels about why I never sit down or I can braid your hair in 6 hours, but
Yeah.
they haven't eaten, they haven't taken a break, they haven't sat down, they haven't gone to the toilet. So though it sounds cool now, long term,
It's gonna
it's
affect
not
you.
worth it.
Yeah.
And this is one industry where you don't really see a lot of braiders past 40.
Mhm.
And people are like, oh, it's because they're, oh, it's not. It's because they physically have worked
Cannot.
themselves to the
Yeah.
ground that they cannot work past 40 in this industry. So I feel like if we start doing this now, like putting the right things in place, we can be braiding to like, God knows what
Exactly.
age.
Amen to that.
Mhm.
Tam, that was a lovely conversation.
Oh, thank you.
Um, at the end of every podcast, my guest gets to ask me two questions, personal or career. It's up to you. So fire
I
away,
got a
girl.
list, I'm joking. Okay, two questions. Business.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, how can I wear this? Okay. Do you feel like, 'cause with your followers, they went up quite quickly, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you having a bigger following has benefited, I guess, your business? Like, what a bet? Do you see benefits of that now, like in 2024, of your followers being high,
Yeah.
than if someone, like, obviously with me, you know, my followers have not changed in
Yeah.
like 4 years, yeah. So do you feel like there's been a big difference or shift in whatever
Yeah.
based on you having a wider following?
I
Sorry, it's a
think
long
that
question.
no, that's fine. Your numbers don't actually
Mm.
determine your business. Yeah, it grew quite quickly when I first started out,
Mhm.
but I feel like that didn't really affect my business. My business mainly came more from when I first started.
Mhm.
I literally was working at Waitrose as well. So
Yes,
what
I
I
remember
was
that. I
doing,
remember that.
yeah,
I remember
I
uniform.
was literally writing like my Instagram on the back of like the receipts
Mhm.
at the till and then handing it out to people or running
Okay, good.
outside if I saw
Smart.
someone.
Smart.
So I got that kind of recognition or word of mouth
Mhm.
or family friends, word of
Yeah, yeah,
mouth.
yeah.
So yeah, in a sense, no, the following doesn't really. Some people it does, but for
Mhm.
me, no. And I feel like the last like 5 years, I'm saying 5 years. I feel like from when I had my son,
Okay.
so 3 years ago now.
He's free.
Yeah, he turned 3 on the 15th of a day after you. I saw your birthday's on the 14th.
14th, yeah.
His is the 15th.
Why am I thinking this sounds like 1 year old
Yeah,
now?
no, he's free.
Time does not
Yeah,
stop. Okay.
he's free. So yeah, obviously I took 3 months off without posting at all. Since
Okay.
that time, my following's just messed up anyway. I don't know what's gone on with Instagram.
Mhm.
I haven't looked into it because I don't actually care about
Yeah.
following anymore. It's like when you
Yeah, it
first
sounds bad,
start
but when you
out,
get to that
yeah.
mindset, it's freedom, you know?
When you first start out, you're worried about that, and I'm just
Mhm.
thinking that is just irrelevant.
Mhm.
Just have your Google reviews up, just get word of mouth,
Mhm.
and you're done. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
But what Instagram will do now, say if I get 80 followers in a day, it will take away 79. If I get 5 in a day, it will take away 4. If I
Oh,
get 2
wow.
in a day, it will take away 1. It's like, yeah. So I just don't even know what's going on with that anymore.
Okay.
But I don't care.
No, babe, I'm the
Do you know what
same.
I mean?
I
Yeah.
thought
So.
exactly the same when it comes
So
to
yeah, it doesn't determine your business. As long as you're doing great and you
Mhm.
have great customer service, it takes time because obviously we don't always have great customer service. Well, I didn't always have great customer service at the start. But yeah, just
100%. Okay, I wanted to speak about that, the following
yeah.
side, because people don't understand. They just think, okay, well, you've got this amount. How come should like they don't
Mm,
understand like your job, what you do, like you are the brand, not the
yeah.
following.
It's
Okay,
sad that society is actually
babe,
going down that route.
it's crazy. It is very crazy. Personal, how are you finding it managing with 2 kids? Or just kids in general? Like
Hard.
how are you so
Hard.
what is like your routine now in terms of work? Are you working from home?
Yeah, I work from home. I've
So how
been
does that
working
work?
from home so from COVID.
You was in a salon before,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
you?
So I
Okay.
worked in a salon in Tooting, then I rented out a salon in Greenwich, then I went back to Tooting.
Okay.
Um, and then COVID hit,
Mhm.
but the salon kept on shutting down, and I have bills to
Mm.
pay. I couldn't keep. I'm not going into debt for no one.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
So then I thought, let me just do it at home. And from
Okay.
there,
Are you still in
yeah,
Oh,
Brixton.
you
Yeah,
still
yeah,
there?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, still
Okay.
there.
Neighbor.
Yeah, but where you came last time to do my hair, that's my mom's place.
Okay.
But I'm in the same
The
the
same
same
lucky.
complex on the
Okay.
other side.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, what I was saying.
So like how does yeah, I was saying
Oh
how
yeah,
does it
yeah.
work
It's
your day
hard.
to day?
It's hard.
So like, when you get like what time would you start compared to the kids
So
getting up? Like what is your day-to-day
So
routine in
my
terms
day
of
to day
hair?
routine is I try and do the whole 5 a.m. thing.
Wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
always do it,
Mhm.
depending on how I'm feeling or how my day goes.
Mhm.
But I was doing it in COVID times, and it
Okay.
really, really helped me.
Yeah.
So if I wake up at 5, between 5 or 6 latest.
Okay.
Then I'll wake my daughter up, or I'll actually do a workout for like an hour.
Good.
On my days off, I try and work out for 2 hours just
Mhm.
because it just helps me.
Mhm.
And then I'll get my daughter will get ready. I'll get my son
Oh, for
ready.
school. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
cool.
I'll drop her to school, and then I'll drop my son to my mom's because
Okay.
she watches him while I work, or sometimes he'll be with me.
Okay. And then you'll
Um,
start work.
and then I'll start at 10,
Okay.
just because obviously drop off 9 gives me an hour to do everything
Mm,
else, set
true.
up or whatever. And then yeah, I try and finish by 6 sometimes.
Oh, so your mum will pick up your daughter.
No, no. Oh yeah. So on the days that I work, my daughter's dad will actually pick
Oh,
her up.
okay, okay.
She attends like a youth club on Tuesdays.
Mhm.
So he will either drop her there if I haven't finished on time, and
Mhm.
then he'll drop her either back to me or back to my mom's.
Okay. And then by 6 you're kind of like
Yeah, by
done.
6 I'm done. If no later than 9 now. Like
Okay.
before I used to work very late, and I just felt
Mm,
like if I didn't have no kids, I probably would still do that.
mm.
But with kids, it's just a lot.
So much harder.
It's a lot, and
Okay.
I feel like people don't understand the pressure that you actually have to
Yeah,
go through. Like
it's true.
sometimes I do wish that, and it may sound very against feminine, like, do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
sometimes maybe because I've worked and I've you just want a break. I wish I could just sit in my house sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And be a housewife and cook
100%.
my dinners
But that's why I
and
asked
wear
that
my cute
question, because I
clothes. Do you
feel
know what I
like
mean?
a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to
Exactly.
braid and be a mum,
Mhm.
and they don't understand what a day to day life looks like as a
Yeah,
full time braider and a mum. So that's why I
exactly.
thought, let me ask that question, because like, people
Mhm.
need to see that. Like, I will literally start work at 8 in the morning,
Yeah.
and then I stop, take Ryan to school. I'm like, so be like 10 minutes. The house is
Mm.
yours. Do what you want. I
Yeah.
got to leave my strangers in my house
Yeah.
every day. Then go drop him, come back, then finish hair,
Mm.
then stop. Like, that is my routine
How do
now.
you feel about
Babe,
that? Are
it's
you scared that
crazy.
they are gonna steal something
I don't
or?
feel like they're gonna steal anything.
Yeah.
If they do, they do. But my thing is just, this is not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But the reality is, this is where I'm at, and I have to
Mhm.
make it work for me until things
Exactly.
change. But I felt overwhelmed. I'm there like
Mm.
getting ready, really quickly
Yeah.
ready, put him in the car, drive to school, come back, then go back to like.
Yeah.
It is honestly
Not it's non-stop and it's
non-stop.
draining. And then it affects certain other areas
Yeah,
of your
it's.
life and then it's just an
I'm trying to potty train
imbalance.
at the same time as I'm
Yeah,
braiding,
girl.
babe. It's a
I
lot.
tried that. I feel like now from next week I need to take literally a week off and just have him in these
Mhm.
pants and then
Mhm.
just bang it out
Mhm.
because
So I'm
it's
doing that
hard.
now with braiding. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, stop, stop. It's a lot, but again, you make it. You're adaptable. We are
Mhm.
adaptable, and we make it work for us. But I feel like the reason I want to speak about that is because I feel like braiders with kids, or people have kids think I can't be a braider or I can't work from
Yeah.
home. But actually seeing that there's two women here that we are mums,
Exactly,
we
yeah.
do it. It's not easy, but it's possible.
And we get it done. So guys, thank you, Tam. That was lovely. Could you let our listeners know like where they could find you on the platforms and stuff like that?
Okay, at the moment I only have Instagram. I'm working on getting TikTok, but
Yeah.
it's not there yet. So Instagram is Salone Sensei underscore. Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Only
nice. So
Instagram.
guys, check it out. Check out her cooking
Oh
as well. Her
gosh.
check out all her highlights because she's got cooking, motherhood, she's got mental health,
Mhm,
and then she's got like highlights for her styles as well.
mhm.
Until next time, guys, thank you.
Yes, bye.